Before we move forward in this video and show you the demonstrations of our various products, we thought it would be a good idea to give you a very close view of the products themselves and how you emplace them onto the firearm. So the first product we're going to start with is the rifle model button head buffer. And the first thing we're going to do is take out the existing GI buffer. So we're going to pull the rear takedown pin so that we can lift the upper receiver away from the lower. And then we're going to take the buffer out by pushing down on the buffer detent plunger and then bringing the buffer out of the buffer tube. We just depress the hammer and clear it away. And now we're going to switch into the rifle model button head buffer and see how that's in place. And that's all there is to that. Now, as we bring the upper receiver down onto the lower receiver, we recommend that you push the button head buffer back into the buffer tube with your finger and then merely close the upper onto the lower, and that's all there is to that procedure. So at this point we're going to change gears a little bit and show you dismounting the buffer. So once again we're going to push out the rear takedown pin so that we can open the upper, and then we're going to use a cartridge to push down the buffer detent plunger, which allows the buffer to come forward. We're going to press down the hammer, and at that point we can take it out of the firearm. So Tom, if you will put it back in again, we'll go through that one more time. That's it. Now it's locked in by the buffer detent plunger, and as we bring the lower down, or correction, the upper down onto the lower, we merely push back on the button head buffer slightly. The upper closes, cross pin, and that's all there is to it. The next component that we thought we'd tell you a little bit more about, so that you understand better when we get into the demonstration part of this video. This is the Rock Steady fully adjustable muzzle stabilizer. Now you can see the front end of the stabilizer right now, and that is what you're looking at is the high pressure gas adjustment. And you can take the supplied tool with it, or you can take a coin, and by adjusting it so that the high pressure gas regulator goes out, you're unscrewing it. That allows more of the high pressure gas to go through the various venturi, which is the slots and or the holes. By adjusting the high pressure gas regulator inward, you are cutting down on the amount of high pressure gas which is allowed to go through the holes or the slot. And this has to do with down drive on the muzzle so that you can reach a neutral position. Now the other adjustment is for roll, lateral roll, and that will come into play on whether you're a right or left-handed shooter, and it will vary depending upon your body mechanics as a right or left-handed shooter. Tom, can you roll that a little more my way? All right, whoop, a little bit too much. Go back to you. Okay, right there, that would be set up approximately for a left-handed shooter. Now, Tom, if you'll roll it more toward me, about there, it's set up for a right-handed shooter and their body mechanics. Now, what I mean by body mechanics is that the firearm goes on to the right or left shoulder, and then the supporting hand and supporting arm change from right or left, and that's where the lateral roll comes into play. So with the Rocksteady fully adjustable muzzle stabilizer, you have two ways of adjusting the system. You can adjust the high pressure gas valve in or out to determine how much of the high pressure gas is flowing through the various venturi, and you can also adjust the body for lateral roll to compensate for your body mechanics. And we thought we would give you a better view of the system, because later on you're going to see it in action, and you'll be able to have a better understanding of exactly what you're seeing. So the combination of the Rocksteady fully adjustable stabilizer on the front and either the buttonhead rifle buffer or the buttonhead M4 buffer in the rear composes the rock solid system.